Okay guys, we are back with our third injury with the EPAT system. As we've gone over before, we've done plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, and we are moving on to patellar tendonitis. So that patellar tendon is right underneath that kneecap. It's that tendon that sits right below here, and you might get some of that pain that gets a little chronic, worse when you're jumping, things like that. And the EPAT system can help vascularize that tissue because it doesn't get that much blood flow, but also studies have shown it can decrease the thickness of that actual tendon, and that allows us to strengthen faster, modify pain, and also strengthen a little bit easier. So we're gonna go over what the machine's gonna look like for you guys. So we're gonna start with that vibration, same thing as the last two injuries we've talked about. The only difference with this one is because we're dealing with a bigger tissue area, we can actually use a bigger head, get a little bit more of a broad scope when we're dealing with the higher up stuff. So the first area we're gonna work in is that quad. That quad attaches into that patellar tendon. So instead of using some of those smaller heads that we've used before, we might use something a little bit bigger, a little bit more intense. Obviously, if you cannot tolerate this, if you have too much pain, we'll go down to something a little bit more manageable. But this is usually the goal for some of those bigger areas, especially people who have a little more muscular quads. We wanna make sure we're using something that can really penetrate that tissue well enough to actually get some effect. And as we've talked about before, we're gonna grade it based off of that. That second part is gonna be more focused in that actual patellar tendon. Won't be using a massive head, something similar to what we've used for the foot or the Achilles before. And it's always gonna be based off of what you can tolerate, and we'll make sure that you're comfortable. Hey guys, it is time to do the exercises for patellar tendonitis in addition to the EPAT system to get better, faster. So the first exercise we're gonna do is called a TKE, or a total knee extension. You are going to wrap a band around a bar, something stable, around a rack, something of that sort, and all you wanna do is get it right behind your knee to start out with. You're gonna back up until you feel a good amount of resistance, and you're getting pulled and that knee's naturally bending towards that loop. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull that patella up and think about squeezing that quad nice and tight and straightening that leg. You're then gonna slowly let that knee come back and then do that again. This allows you to get some strengthening into that quad without putting too much tension into that patellar tendon and irritating it any further. The next one we're gonna do is gonna be more advanced. This is gonna be as you start to feel better, you wanna do some extra strengthening while still being kind to that patellar tendon. You're gonna take a much thicker loop band and wrap it around a rack. Same thing, something stable. It's a little more of an aggressive band. You're gonna put more weight into it, so make sure it really is something that's not gonna move, preferably drilled into the ground. You are gonna put your feet into each loop, and again, this loop's gonna be right behind that knee. Next thing you're gonna do is get a good amount of tension on it, and you're gonna notice you're gonna wanna go back this way, make sure your feet are nice and grounded. All we're gonna do is you're gonna sit as if you're sitting in a chair, and you're gonna stand back up, straightening and squeezing those quads at the top. This one's a lot harder. You just wanna make sure that you're really focusing on keeping those feet nice and grounded as you do the exercise. And with this one, you should get a little bit more intensity and you can slowly build back to normal squatting. See you guys next time.